This is One on One. I am Stacey Carmichael, and with me today is the Honorable Amna Ally, Minister of Social Protection. Welcome to One on One, Minister Ali. How are you?
Thank you. Quite well, thanks.
And today we'll be discussing some of the major accomplishments in the Social Protection Ministry. Minister, 2019 is coming to a close. What are some of the major accomplishments in your sector that you would like to highlight today?
Well, first of all, thank you, Stacey, and a pleasant good day to all listeners. And before I start, I want to take this opportunity to wish all happy holidays. Talking about achievements in my ministry, I am very happy and elated because of the many achievements that we have made during the year. As a matter of fact, they did not only start in 2019, but rather it started since 2015. As you may know, my ministry has 4 major departments or programs. One deal with child protection, the other with labor, the other policy and administration, and the other social services. And in each of these departments, the programs established, we've had quite a lot of achievements. Let me start with the Child Care and Protection Agency. In that department, we have a major achievement where we have established, we have made, we've constructed rather a center for children and families. As you know, some years ago, our drop-in center was on fire. People died in that fire, children died in that fire. And we're a caring government, and so we believe that we must make sure that we have a facility that will take care of our children, and not only children. In some cases, you do not want to separate children from their families. And so this center that is built in Sophia caters for the children and in some cases families. We still have the other Sophia Center. We have the center at Mahaika. So we are looking at taking care of our children all around Guyana, and I believe that that is a major, major achievement for us. In addition to that, another achievement that we have had over the year is the establishment of the Toddlers Reading Program. The Toddlers Reading Program, we have been able to extend this program across all 10 administrative regions. The response has been very good because in that program, we encourage teachers, parents, caregivers, and all to encourage their children to read. Literacy is very important. We even do it when they go to health centers and other care facilities. And I can tell you that it is a gesture that has really gained traction, and people really do appreciate that. In our early childhood program also, we have foundation training. You know, across Guyana, we have many daycare centers, for example. Some are what they call daycare centers. Not all, properly, they have proper facilities. Not all are registered. But we have embarked on this project of ensuring that all the daycare facilities, they meet some required standards and that they register. And I can tell you we have had a vast improvement in both cases, in registering the daycare facilities and providing proper facilities for them so that the children can enjoy things. We've also looked at teenage pregnancy program, and I can tell you it has really helped a great deal. And we do this in collaboration with the GRPA. And we've had over 200 young people trained. It is now for us to do an assessment over time to see how responsive they are to this teenage program. So these are some of the areas under the Child Care and Protection Agency that we can boast successes, that we have done so much work with our young people, with parents. You know, it is not only the children you have to address, but you also have to address how the parents treat with them, how they look at situations, sensitization. They must be aware of what is right from what is wrong. Yes, so we have a great lot of achievement under the Child Care and Protection Agency. And if I'm to go on to talk about another department, or I don't know if you wish to ask me any question.
Well, it depends on which department we're going on to, because I wanted us to touch also on some of the programs that address, sensitization as it relates to violence against women and girls and what has been achieved in the ministry.
Okay, I'm coming to that. But let me tell you about, under the Department of Policy and Administration, you would have heard quite a lot of people talking about SLED, Sustainable Livelihood Entrepreneurial Development. I have to boast about the SLED program in this ministry because the SLED program has benefited young people and women across the country. I can tell you that for this year's budget, we had $250 million budgeted for the SLED program. And we have been able to actually spend all of it at this point in time. We have been able to empower 50 individuals for the year and over 150 cooperatives, groups of young people and women. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that in Region 9 alone, we have invested in about 19 projects where we built multipurpose centers. We did agriculture projects such as rearing of sheep, poultry, chicken, women engaged in sewing, providing sewing machines, material, investing in cookery, and a whole lot of things. Apart from these projects, we have also trained women how to operate in these projects, and I can tell you that these women, these people who have benefited from these projects, they are loud in praise for this government because of what they have achieved in the short span of time of a year. So the SLED program is an excellent program. We hope that consideration will be given in 2020 for this ministry to receive more money under the SLED program so that we can widen. We are going to be able to bridge more gaps, and we are going to be able to empower a number of people, and so on. In addition to our SLED program, under this department, there is a unit that is called the Difficult Circumstances Unit. Now, let me tell you first of all, the Difficult Circumstances Unit is, as it says, if you are in difficult circumstances to do something and you're in a bad way or so, this unit seek as much as practicable to assist you. And I can tell you that we've had a lot of achievements. Now, there are a lot of people, mostly women, who need a little something to do for their survival. And so we have invested in a number of small projects for them. This is not a grant across the board. We examine your case, we do our due diligence, and so on, and we offer some assistance. And I can tell you that we have helped many, many people to start or to get on their feet, to earn, so that they can take care of their families. Also in the Difficult Circumstances Unit, we have helped people, sometimes you build a home and you are unable to provide certain basic things. We don't build homes for people, but let's say your lavatory is in a bad state and it needs repairs, and we investigate before we do anything. We just don't listen to what you say and lose the money as though, we don't care how we do it. We investigate, we look at a proper quotation and so on, and we help you to provide amenities like those. In many cases, even students, we have helped to pay their fees at UG. Now, it is not something that we can pay all the students' fees, but when we examine the situation and we find that you are really deserving, we assist you. And so those are some of the achievements we have had under the Policy and Administration Department. We've helped thousands of people to better their lives, let me say that, to better their lives in education, in economics, and generally.
Okay, Minister, allow me to ask this question. You were talking about training briefly. What about the collaboration with the Ministry and the Board of Industrial Training? I know that has been a successful program, and you've been training some youths. Could we get a little update on that program as well?
Well, the Board of Industrial Training has been doing a fantastic job. The Board of Industrial Training has trained hundreds of young people in various fields: ICT, masonry, carpentry. With the new advent of oil and gas, they have trained people across this country. I think recently they had graduation in Linden for a set of young people, 100 and something young people. But the Board of Industrial Training, I take my hat off to them because they have trained a number of people in various fields to serve this country.
Thank you, Minister. And we cannot forget our seniors. Since the government, the coalition government has been in office, we've done a lot. You've done a lot for our seniors. What are some of the benefits they can look forward to going into 2020?
Well, they can look forward to quite a lot of benefits because, we place a lot of emphasis on our elderly. Our elderly, they have really made a contribution to this country. Our elderly, as you know, we have raised the bar on the old age pension, where they now receive 20,500 for 2019, over 56% increase from what they used to have. So they have reached that bar, and I'm sure that in 2020 it is going to be much higher than that. But I want to highlight a few other things with our seniors. There was a time our seniors go to collect their pension, and the physical infrastructure that they have to utilize and wait for their pension, in most cases, it doesn't exist any longer. And I'll give you one example. I visited Mabaruma Region 1. And at Mabaruma Region 1, we constructed a lavatory block, a sanitary block for the pensioners, so that when they go, they can use the facility. And in responding to me when I was there, the elderly woman said to me, "Minister, I thank you and this government, because in years gone by, when you're here for your pension and you want to urinate, you have to go in the bushes, and you can be attacked by even the caiman. And today we thank the government that we have such an improved and modern facility." We take pride in doing those things, because I don't think that we must allow our seniors in these times to run to the bush to do what nature calls for. But we must be able to provide that. Now, not only in Mabaruma, we have not completed in all the regions, but we have started in many of the regions. There was the absence of toilet facilities. We are providing that so that our pensioners can be comfortable. Now, that is one old achievement that I'm very proud of that this coalition government has initiated. And there are others. Old age pensioners years ago used to have to pay thousands of dollars to people to get them their monthly pension, especially in the remote areas, the riverine areas. But now we have, in most cases, direct payments where our officers go into the areas and they make their payments. So, you know, Stacy, I don't know if you know, but recently we have started on what we call ministerial outreaches. And I can tell you that when you go to these regions, you hear firsthand what these people experience, what they need. And I can tell you that servicing the pensioners was a grave issue. Hence, we decided that we are going to do direct payments and make special arrangements so that every month officers can visit the remote areas and pay the pensioners. So no longer do they have to pay somebody else $1,000 transportation costs to receive their pension money. Only recently, Mr. Banwari and a team went into the Moruca sub-region and did that, because when I did a ministerial visit recently, and that was one of the complaints about some of the areas, and we addressed it immediately. So you find that once we are able to identify these challenges, we address them. So our elderly, we are treating them specially. And finally, on the elderly, in these days, in many, many areas, we are able to provide breakfast for pensioners when they go for their pension at the post or various post offices. So we, in a large way, we are improving the facilities, providing the breakfast, taking direct payments, improving the infrastructural work at the post offices at the locations where they have to collect their pensions, providing adequate seating arrangements and so on, because some people are old, they can't stand up too long, you know. So these are some of the achievements that we have made in this year 2019, and I can tell you, the pensioners are really, really happy. They laud the government for those things.
Okay, Minister, you said a lot about the pensioners and what has been done for them. As early as you said earlier, we also needed to touch on women. A lot has been done for them in terms of training, but what are some of the programs that have been implemented to protect women and girls against all forms of violence, not forgetting the 16 days of activism?
Okay, now women play a very important part in the roles of our lives. Everywhere, if you look in this room, it's 3 women, 1 man. The women play a very important role, and we recognize this and we address it. Domestic violence is a scourge that we have to eradicate. And the ministry has been working assiduously to eliminate the scourge of domestic violence. We have done quite a lot for our women. We, as you know, very popular is this 16 days of activism. And we are not only saying that only 16 days we must focus on women, but we identify those 16 days to focus and to send messages to people generally, men and women, about domestic violence against women and girls. We launched domestic violence, the 16 days of activism in Linden this year. And I can tell you I was there, I delivered the address for that launch. And we looked at a very large aspect of the cultural program. And it really brought out some of the issues that cause domestic violence. And we say no to domestic violence. We are saying that it must be stopped because it is not happy for our women and girls to experience those things. Those are hardships. And so we are advocating to stop the violence. We portray it in culture, in flyers, in sensitization programs. We have this thing about do not use your hands for hitting, nor your feet for kicking, and it's catching on. People are understanding it. Our hands are not made for that. Our feet are not made for that. And so we must not think our women are footballs. And so we must not use our hands for hitting, nor should we use our feet for kicking. And that has been catching on. During the 16 days of activism, that was something that we were really, really promoting. But going a little further, recognizing that these things do happen, I can tell you that we have introduced other programs. For example, we have established centers where women who and girls who experience domestic violence, we cater for them at various homes they can go to. And we have one in Region 6, we have one in Region 2, we have one in Region 4, and there are other centers around the country some of them are not government owned, but NGOs, organizations, and we partner with them to bring this kind of relief to our women. We give them subventions, etc. So we have homes where we have our women folks who experience this kind of violence going. And I can tell you at these homes also, we just don't keep them like that, but we introduce programs, skills, etc., where they can learn, we do counseling and all of that. And it is not only government, but we collaborate with other NGOs and other organizations to make them happy. So we do quite a lot under the social, so that is the social services sector. And, even now we have established the Gender Affairs Bureau. First, you used to have the Men's Bureau and the Women's Bureau. And so everything you do it according to sex. It is good to bring them together so that I can understand the plight of a man and the man can understand the plight of a woman. So it's a good thing to have a gender affairs unit rather than a men's affairs or a women's affair. We are in the process of concluding an action plan of how we go forward with this unit and so on, because it's not in the laws, but it's a policy direction to have this kind of unit. So I can say that generally in the social services sector, we have achieved quite a lot. I can also tell you that we have the night shelter, where it is designed really for an overnight if you have problems. But I can tell you that many people have made it a permanent home, and that is in the La Penitence area. And that is taking care of not only women and men, because men too, they experience trauma in one way or the other. And so we look at these things and we try to alleviate it and make them happy and counsel them so that they can be reintegrated into society. And lastly, on the social services, I want to tell you about the Hugo Chavez Center in Region Number 5. We have quite a lot of inmates also at the Hugo Chavez Center. But that is a beautiful center where what happens, okay, after screening and so on, we take them in, but we work on programs to rehabilitate them so that they can be reintegrated into society. And at the moment, we have reintegrated many people. Some people go in there, they are now out working in government jobs, being drivers, doing all sorts of things, because we have sessions with them, we train them, we counsel them, and so they do quite a lot at that center. And I think it's serving a very good purpose.
Thank you, Minister. Now, another area that your ministry covers, labor and the protection of workers' rights. What are some of the accomplishments in that area, especially with negotiations with companies in terms of treating their employees correctly and ensuring that the employees get what they deserve in accordance with the laws?
Okay, let me start by saying workers have rights. This particular section of the ministry, on a daily basis, we encounter quite a lot of challenges. As you know, we have local companies, we have foreign companies. And sometimes things don't go the way they ought to go. Especially in recent times, we have been facing a lot of challenges. Challenges in terms of, for example, with some local companies, You have a minimum wage for workers, and the workers, the companies, do not pay them what is the minimum wage. They continue to pay them what used to be. And at the moment, we are faced with some serious challenges. But I must tell you, we are serious. If the government increases salary, it means that, let me give you an example. The Ministry of Education contracts security services. The government will give the Ministry of Education the monies for the security service, and the Ministry of Education pays the companies. Now, when you pay the companies, it is expected that it trickles down to the workers because they are receiving the monies. We find that some security services, they do not trickle down that wage to the ordinary workers. And like I said, we are taking that very seriously. As a matter of fact, at the moment, a few of the companies are being investigated, and we intend they have to pay the people their money, or we will take them to court and we will blacklist them so that they will not be given contracts for those purposes. Because it is not a case that the companies are not receiving what is due to them, but they are withholding it and they are not trickling it down to the workers. So we have problems like that. But that is the challenge. But what have we also done? We have been having seminars with them. We have been doing a lot of visitations, inspecting their books, investigating complaints, and bringing them in line to comply with the rules. But like I said, some adhere while some give a deaf ear to it. But we've had improvements in that respect. We've had improvements. There were many private people who, don't keep their books, etc., in order. We have advocated that it is necessary for you to keep your books in order. We have shown how it is done and so on. So we do a lot of training sessions with the companies. With the foreign companies, you always have problems here and there. But I know that with negotiations, we are able to overcome them. We had problems earlier in the year with Rusal, and through negotiations, we were able to settle the disputes and so on. I know that right now there are lots of other challenges brewing, not only with Rusal, with Troy Resources, etc. But I believe life is like that. You will have challenges, but I can tell you that government is coping with it.
Thank you so much, Minister. Now, as we wrap up the program, what can Guyanese look forward to under the Social Protection Ministry come 2020?
I would say that there is quite a lot that Guyanese can look forward to in 2020. This government is about development. This government is about improvement. And not only because we have oil coming on stream, but during this year, as a matter of fact, from 2015 to now, we have had, without oil, improvements in infrastructure in roads, in bridges, in lights, and a number of other things. And those things have made the Guyanese public comfortable. And that is why I believe that this government is going to be returned to power, because the people across the country have recognized that this government has done quite a lot. In social protection, I would expect more of what we have achieved in 2019. I would expect improved pensions. I will expect improved facilities. And so, not only generally, not only in social protection, but generally, Guyanese can look forward in 2020. As a matter of fact, President Granger speaks about a decade of development, not only 1 year, but from 2020 to 2029. And you know, Stacy, you can't have everything at one time. But I believe that this coalition government has been doing exceedingly well from 2015 to now. And with the promise of oil flowing, I believe that the funds garnered from that will be utilized to give the Guyanese people the good life they deserve.
Thank you so much, Minister. Now, is there any Christmas message you would like to leave with the public before we close off the program?
Yes, I would just like to wish all Guyanese a Merry, Merry Christmas, a prosperous and rewarding 2020. My Christmas is going to be on the 3rd of March. I know December is the month for Christmas, and my Christmas is going to be the 3rd of March, when we are going to be returned to power so that we can make the rest of Guyana happy and to put smiles on all of your faces.
Thank you so much, Minister, for joining us. And thank you so much, viewers. This has been One on One.